All right, good morning, everybody. I was talking about wanting to build this deck yesterday. I think it turned out pretty good. So we've got Final Fantasy card, Zack Fair, a 1-mana 1/2, basically, because it's an 0/1 that enters with a counter, that has the ability to spend a mana and sacrifice it to give a creature indestructible to end of turn, and you put all of the counters that are on Zack onto that creature, and you put all equipments that are attached to it to that creature too. And it's almost like this card was just designed with Broodscale in mind, because this does four important things. Sorry, there's four things. So one, it's a creature that dies to trigger blade. That's not the biggest deal. It puts a counter on Broodscale to get the ball rolling, to start making spawns and start doing your combo loop. It protects the Broodscale from removal spells, although it's only indestructible, so it doesn't give it protection from like Solitude. And it also can move a Blade of the Bloodchief onto Broodscale at instant speed. This is possibly the biggest part, although the protection also helps with this too. Where if you have a Blade on Zack and you have a Broodscale in play, and what you can do is you can go, I spend a mana to equip the Blade onto the Broodscale. Usually once the Blade is on the Broodscale, it's very tough for your opponent to deal with it. So they are usually wanting to respond to the equip with the removal spell. But Zack allows you to respond to that response by putting the Blade onto the Broodscale itself. So all these things are really, really nice. In addition to that, card also plays really well with Walking Ballista. It lets you move the counters from Zack onto Ballista. It's also like a pretty good thing to Cauldron a Ballista onto, since it already enters with a counter. It's gonna come with two. That second counter is actually really, really important when you combine it with Blade fairly, where once you get that second counter and you equip a Blade to Zack, you can peel a counter off, kill a 1 toughness creature, put a counter, because that second counter lets you start that loop, if that makes sense. Zack is also good with Esper Sentinel. Being able to make your Esper Sentinel a 2/2 is just a pretty big deal, especially when you're protecting it from removal spell. This is a big speed bump, these two cards together. So there's a few different directions to go with this shell. Once I realized this about Esper Sentinel, I really wanted to kind of lean into playing this card. I was trying to build a version that was playing Hardened Scales. I ended up feeling like every time I had Hardened Scales in this list, my creature count was too low to justify Hardened Scales. I tried being more in on Heliod, and I ended up realizing like the first Heliod is pretty good, and you never, ever, ever, ever really want to draw two. So we're playing one at the moment. I was at one point trying to play no copies of Urza Saga, and I was trying to be really in on Idyllic Grange. I didn't like that plan so much, but we are still playing one Idyllic Grange here in the mana base to fetch, put a counter on something at instant speed. We've got the Gearhulks in here. Yeah, I guess I didn't bark down the Eldrazi tree too much with this build. All right, Nath with the 30 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Let's get in there. I'm more or less happy with just the one copy today. All right, let's keep this. Let's lead on the Urza Saga here, I think. I'm going to play out the Haywire Mite also. Leading on the Saga lets me kill on turn 3 if we're in a non-interactive matchup, which is pretty important. And if it seems like we're in an interactive matchup, we'll probably Rumble on turn 2. I know the mana base would have to change. Isn't Evoke command good here? It's basically a catch-all. Yeah, Kozilek's command is always good in any deck that can support it. I don't think this deck can support it as easily as you're saying, though. When you're really heavily in on two colors, you have a lot of white 1-drops and a lot of cheap green cards. It's not super easy to play Eldrazi Temple. It's not super easy to have a lot of colorless sources. You don't have access to Grove of the Burn Willows in green-white, which is like a really good 3-color land. You have access to like cards like Brushland, which are just significantly worse. While that card is insane, of course, I don't. Okay, they Forest Stirrings. Grab another Forest. A weird start. Yeah, let's play the Broodscale. Went 3-1 to Glimpse last night. Talked about the other day, maybe when to run again felt pretty good. Nice. Yeah, I definitely think it's got some potential to be good. Could be playing a mirror match. Yep. So kind of cool that they ran out Haywire Mite targets, because this lets me start my combo easier. I use the mites to destroy the blade. To study the blade, I don't know. Alright. Smooth start. So we're on the draw in against normal Broodscale, I assume. I want to bring in the second portable hole. I want to bring in the poisons to pick, I think. Is there anything I can needle that isn't in my deck? Not really, right? I want to leave in the Relic for Emrakul. Emrakul is kind of a scary dynamic of this matchup. I want the Shadowspear is important for like lethal as a payoff off of Urza Saga. I think I'm cutting just the top end of my curve. I think because they have all these Emrakuls and K commands that they have like a pretty big degree of inevitability in the late game. So I think I'm just cutting all these cards on the draw. Thoughts on this idea? Why don't you post the idea in the chat so I don't have to click a link? Okay, we're on the draw for game 2. Sentinel is pretty good in this matchup. The second Zack is usually not so good, but we'll probably be keeping the 7 here. It's Heliod Ballista with extra steps of Cauldron. Well, we've played plenty of Heliod Ballista Cauldron. It's not a very good strategy, I think. I might even go as far as to say it's pretty bad. Guide Pride Mono White Heliod combo since you can Cauldron Ballista onto the cat. That is more interesting, like things naturally having lifelink. You should almost definitely be playing green for Rumble if you're going to be playing Heliod combo. Rumble is just like Rumble in the Cauldron shell is just so insane. There's my own Cauldron. Maybe they'll mill a Ballista here. They mill 2 Blade of the Bloodchiefs, a Malevolent Rumble, and an Eldrazi Temple. They choose the Eldrazi Temple, so 2 Blades dispatched here. We draw a 3rd copy of Zack Fair. That's too many Zack Fairs. Maybe should have trimmed 1 or 2. Have I tried Zack and Hammer yet? No, I don't think Zack is very good in Hammer. One thing that's interesting about Zack is that Zack is a legend, so between Cloud and Cassandra and Zack, maybe that's like enough things to play Mox Amber. So that is kind of interesting. It doesn't seem like an awful Hammer card either, but I've not tried this card in Hammer. There's also the new red legend. There's also Frodo as like a legend that you could play in this archetype. I straight up had no idea they played Pyroclasm. That is rough. I think I will Cauldron this turn. So they have 1 land, 2 artifacts, 4 sorceries. Sure, let's just get the Zack under the Cauldron, I think. It's also possible, like, I should go after Misty and then go after the Saga to make Emrakul more expensive. We get Besaged. So they've got 3 cards left in their hand here. They've got a Blade also. Definitely going to make you sack an enchantment. So risky against Pyroclasm number 2 to run out the second the Broodscale, and it does make sense, I think, for them to have second Pyroclasm 2. They haven't been super duper proactive, so I think let's think let's chill here. They play a Grove of the Burn Willows. They do have the Lantern to cycle if they are indeed a bit flooded. That is what happens first. Again, it does, I think, make a lot of sense for them to have a Pyroclasm here. All right, let's go. I'm happy to draw this Relic so that we just reset the page here on Emrakul. Happy to draw this Urza Saga. Well, I will be unhappy if they have a K command, although at the speed they're playing, it doesn't exactly seem super likely that that's something in their hand. So they start off with a Surveil. Graveyard's a Cavern of Souls. They have a Broodscale? They do have a Broodscale. So they can combo off here. The question, of course, is going to be, do they have a payoff? So that's bad news. Need a Magmatic Theft here. Yeah, they only have 2 cards. I think it's pretty likely they have a payoff, based on how this game has gone, though. I think they're going to cast an Emrakul after one more sacrifice. Boy, do I love to be wrong. What was the verdict on the Astrologian Planisphere Affinity deck? We went 9-1 yesterday. That was it was really impressive. Planisphere seemed like a really ideal addition to the archetype. Oh, I guess I probably should have made a spawn end of turn. I was just happy to be alive. I don't know what to say. Do they misclick? Yeah, they just wanted to make a big creature. It's possible they were bluffing. They also just drew this for turn, I think. So I don't think they have another payoff. So I imagine they want to make a 17 power creature. And let's block with a construct here. Fun game. They do get another blocker. Well, that's not a good top deck. So I'm pretty sure just get Haywire Mite, right? This being so big is a problem, but I'd like that I can Cauldron the Haywire Mite and deal with the Saga. It's a little annoying that they get an extra spawn. Could you explain the one of Heliod? Is it just to randomly win with ballistas or something else I'm missing? Well, that's the only thing Heliod ever does in Modern, right? So, yeah. But yeah, I think the first Heliod's good in this deck. We're a Cauldron Ballista deck. I just kind of think the first copy's good. Not that deep. If you only have one Heliod, you never have the problem of drawing 2 of that card. Alright, so let's go ahead and Cauldron. You know what? I guess I should be adapting also. Just getting more blockers here. Attack for 1, and then I'm going to use Zack to kill the Saga. Did I consider trying Aerith in that slot instead of Ballista? If you called your Ballista on her, she can win pretty easy. Yeah, what is Aerith? These Final Fantasy names, man. They all sound exactly the same to me. We're not dead to a Pyroclasm because the Construct survives too. Oh, the other direction I was considering was more equipment focused. Like I was considering playing Hammer in this deck, and I was considering playing Hammer. I was considering playing Cloud and doubling up like the blade triggers and Cloud. Okay, no targets for Pick Your Poison. Okay, whenever you gain life, put a counter on Aerith. It has lifelink. When it dies, put a counter on each legendary creature you control. So if you Cauldron Ballista on Aerith, you win. I totally missed that. Pretty cool. My opponent didn't hit their land drop last turn. They might have drawn Emrakul. They might have K Command though. Okay, probably not K Command. Thankfully. Better draw an Urza Saga or something that I could Haywire Mite and they don't want to play. Do feel bad about I boarded out all my good stuff here. I guess Ballista is a pretty good top deck blade still, but I boarded out my Gearhulks and my Ballista and my Heliod. Felipe with the 22 months. Hope you're doing well. Welcome back. Yeah, it could be worth trying. I don't know if it's right for like this shell exactly, but it could be. Okay, there's a Rumble. Be cool if we milled over Ballista and put something good into our hand. Alright, I guess we just take the Saga. And Psychoros with the 14 months. I hope you're doing well too. Ads be gone. The pleasure of all the subscribers here at twitch.tv/aspiringspike. Is this another Fleshraker? It's another Broodscale. Fun game here. I have another spell. Oh, there's adapting. Okay. So this is going to make another token. It's going to deal me 1 more damage. I'm going to go down to 16. Surprisingly easy to chump this Broodscale every turn. Ooh. They might be setting up for a Pyroclasm, but I can... If they have Pyroclasm, what I can do is I have a Zack under the Cauldron, and I can put a counter here, and I can make this indestructible, so... Seems like that's not too tough. Awesome with the 54 months. Hope you're doing well, too. So let's kill this. I guess I could also just put a counter on the Broodscale. I can just put a counter on the Broodscale after the Pyroclasm resolves. I think about Stony Silence's sideboard strat. I mean, Stony Silence is a good sideboard card. It's also good against... It's better against Belcher than... it's better against Belcher than Wrath Disguise is, so like that's something to consider usually when you're weighing those two cards. It just depends. It just always depends on like your deck and your sideboard plan and what you're targeting. Those are just always, of course, the questions you got to answer. All right, so they've got 1 card in their hand. They're at 8. I'm at 15. I do have an Idyllic Grange that I can grab off this Windswept Heath, which lets me get potentially 1 more surprise blocker here. Also, they might like double block the construct. Probably wouldn't do that though. All right, so they 2 spawns chump, 1 card in their hand. We can make an infinite power Broodscale next turn. That might not be better than just putting a Shadowspear on this thing though. They play a forest. I love games like this, just like very slow back and forth, lots of like activated abilities, lots of like incremental value. Games have been good this week. Like, maybe this is a good way to put it. Like, this is a game that you just like is so unique. This is a board state that's so unique and special. You just don't get to play a game like this that often. Okay, they have something. It's a Dismember. Dismember on Construct. So I can save this. Wait, no. Can't. So I can put a counter here. Can put a counter here. And then I can Grange, but then that's only 5/5. Yeah, definitely not the cup of tea for everybody, but I really like games like this. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna end up putting a Shadowspear on this. Oh wait, they've got the Broodscale back on defense this time. So I guess I'm gonna have to get the blade. Maybe I'll just draw a Ballista. No, another land. Does the token have adapt? It only has adapt if it has a counter on it, which of course at that point isn't helpful. Grange, Cauldron, adapt 1 can save the guy. No, that only makes it a 5/5. It was a 3/3. That's +1/+1. That's a 5/5. Right? All right, your turn. You got no cards in your hand. Oh, an adapt 1. Yeah, you can't adapt when a card has a counter on it. You can't adapt. That's the text on adapt. I see. Uh-oh. So this is Emrakul? 4, 8, 9. This is not enough mana. They can't Emrakul here. I reliced you. I'm gonna Cauldron you too. Maybe this is K command. That would be bad. 5. Do you think the list is best like that, or swashing for a hole is okay? I mean, I'm very intentionally mono blue in that deck. All right, it was indeed the worst case scenario. They make spawns and exile my Broodscale. Might as well do this, I guess. Might have been correct for me to have moved the blade over, right? Making spawns for scry drawing is pretty interesting here. I think that maybe they just don't think I have Ballista in my deck, but as it stands, this game really has the potential to go on for like quite a bit longer, and so why not pump first? You cannot adapt if there is already a counter on the creature. I will say this every 5 minutes for the rest of the stream, so y'all remember. Wait, why not buff it bigger than their Broodscale and move the counters? Well, what is the point of... Oh, sorry. Move the counters from the Zack Fair. Sorry. Yes, should have done that. Should have done that. Oopsie doopsie. I will say I guess that's more relevant too if we draw a Shadowspear. Sorry about that. I understand now. They drew another Eldrazi spell. Is it a Fleshraker? It is a Fleshraker. We've had no Ballistas in the top 30 cards. We can fetch the Thin, but we still have the Grange. Also, our life total is not the highest. Might fetch the Thin next turn. I don't know. Just trying to draw a Ballista before they draw a Ballista or K command. Uh-oh. Is it Pyroclasm? Emrakul, I guess. Have I seen the Broodscale list of Sephiroth that made me really scared? I haven't seen it, no. Could be interesting. It's possible to activate the Cauldron adaptability and respond by removing the counters. Adapt checks and resolution. Okay. I'll keep that in mind. Good tip, tutors. Well, we've been out top decked. It's definitely possible that I made a mistake by thinking this game would be fast and cutting my Gearhulks. I think I'm going to trim a Zack. Maybe I trim one of these? Just keep 2 in. Could trim a drum, maybe. Maybe not. Do you think the Sentinels are good? That Pyroclasm was a crazy blowout. You did not show up for work. I might 61. 61. Oh, Demonic Tutor, not Tutors AC. Do you have a list with Sephiroth? There's 1 or 2 Sephiroth lists in the Mox field. In general, if there's a card you're interested to see, and you wonder if I've built a deck around it, you can go to my Moxfield profile, moxfield.com/user/aspiring spike, and you can just search for the card that you want to see. Is Sentinel that good? Yeah, they have like 20 non-creature spells. The Sentinel's really good. They have Cauldron and Blade and Stirrings and Rumble, Springleaf Drum. I'm definitely forgetting Pyroclasm, K-Command. They have so many. Kind of tempted to get the Blade on the Sentinel first, but that's a little greedy. I can even go Cauldron, the Haywire Mite, maybe next turn. So I can play the Blade out, or I can leave up a Haywire Mite Esper Sentinel's activation, or I could leave the Surveil ability. I think with this in hand, I want to be able to try to Surveil into land number 4 here. So take a look at the Sephiroth Broodscale. Yeah, K-Command Sephiroth is interesting. Looks interesting. 5-0'd. Definitely a cool list. Warmonger with the 2 years. Thank you. Welcome back. So they may have a K-Command. I guess I'm pretty happy if they K-Command the Haywire Mite. Am I happy if that happens? Let's see. Let's just Surveil first. No real reason not to. There's a Zack Fair. All right, so let's graveyard that and let's Cauldron the Zack Fair instead. So if they're going to K-Command and exile the Mite, we still have this under the Cauldron. We would get to draw a card 2, which would also let me, which would also maybe dig me deeper for a land for this Broodscale. Instead, they have a Dismember, which I did not play around particularly well, I guess. It's okay, I suppose. Just if I had waited, I could have gotten the counter on the Sentinel and then the Broodscale, and then like I would have drawn a card. Thankfully, I drew a land. So we're definitely going to grab a Ballista. We maybe also want to grab Urza Saga. We could potentially get another Sentinel. We could get Mox Opal, and we could cast Blade of the Bloodchief this turn. I think I want the Saga. I think that looks good to me. In case you missed it, Cecil Shadow came in 9th in the challenge. I did miss it. Thank you. So they're playing Battle at the Bridge. Destroy target creature if it has mana value 2 or less. Oh, this is Fatal Push. Great. This is very, very close to the list we first played. Or I guess the list we second played, right? Because we had something over Tamio. Tamio ended up being a lot better. They're playing just a main deck Hex Parasite. Oh, they're playing Saga too. I missed this. They're playing Saga. Okay. So they're not playing Overlord, which is pretty interesting. So it's kind of a mix of our 2 lists, I guess. I feel like, I don't know, it's interesting, but I'm glad it's doing well. Obviously, there's a lot of ways you could build this. This looks really, really nice. I did kind of miss Tamio last time, especially because Tamio is good with Urza Saga. So it looks nice. Okay. So let's Cauldron the Haywire Mite, just get that ability. I probably want to Cauldron Ballista. Yeah, casting Ballista seems a little tough here. So I could either cast Ballista and yeah, I think it's just gonna be better to Shadowspear equip. Get that bad boy trample. Extra counter. Seems like I'm never gonna have more than 3 counters on this, right? So we might as well just attack first. This is a monster right here. Look at all this text. Look at all this text. Can't be cast by spending mana as of any color. Look at this tiny lifelink. Let's go. now that's an MH4 card if I've ever seen one. Oh, right, it is trampled naturally. That's right. All right, so where do I put the... I guess I just go... ping. And then this is either going to just resolve, or they're going to sack it. Seems to have just resolved. Wait, why didn't this trigger? Oh, only when you sack another Eldrazi, I see. So I could kill this right now, and I would be left with 1 counter still on this. That seems okay. Am I looking for an MH4? If there is an MH4, I hope it's not for like a couple years, 3 years maybe. The thing also about Horizon Set is like MH2 was like the best designed, and it also came at the best time, or maybe the worst time, because it came after a long period of unstableness and chaos and like bad design, all this stuff. Or maybe this was bad to kill the Chrysalis, because now I could maybe get Broodscaled. Although I can, if they start the Broodscale combo, maybe I just kill them, don't I? Yeah, I just kill them. So it just came at a bad time. MH2 came at a good time because it was a bad time. Like the period of MH1 to MH2 was just an awful design era. So not only that, the design philosophy of MH2 cards, of them being powerful, polarizing, but cards that you could metagame against, with the exception of Grief. Grief was the one big exception to that design philosophy. MH2 was sick. MH1 and 3 were bad. I don't know that I feel confident in Wizards' ability to make a good Horizon set again. All right, so we defeated green-red Broodscale with green-white Broodscales. I thought all sets would be standard legal. All Universe Beyond sets. I don't believe they've said they would never do a straight to Modern set again. But I don't know. I think that it's... I don't want another Modern Horizon set for a long time. The format is like... It took like a whole year post MH3 for the format to start healing. And things are pretty good at the moment. They're not as good as they can be. They're not as good as they ever will be, as they've ever been. But they're pretty good. And they're trending upward. So I'm certainly not interested in an MH set anytime soon. All right, so we're on the play for round number 2, long match 1. There's an Otawara. Ooh, Merfolk. So Merfolk's not going to have a lot of removal that we care about with Zack, so I think we could just bin that. So I think I just slammed the Broodscale. Would you like to see a set like Lord of the Rings again, power level wise? So the thing about Lord of the Rings, and I could say this pretty confidently because I consulted on it, was the set was supposed to be standard power level or close to standard power level, and it wasn't. Dude, they love this Mindspring Merfolk card. It was supposed to be around standard power level, and they added a bunch of unbalanced cards at the very end. Ooh. So I can take Cauldron to go with Ballista. I milled my Grange, which is actually pretty bad here. Or I could Portable Hole the Aether Vial. But yeah, it was like, again, it was not supposed to be the power level set that it was. It was not intended to be much stronger than a standard set. And when I consulted on it, the One Ring was not like an embarrassingly bad. I didn't vial the one drop. It was like an embarrassingly bad, underpowered 5-mana artifact. I can't even remember what it did. It was like so uninteresting. And then they changed it last minute, and like a classic Wizards of the Coast, like why would you do this kind of blunder? And then, you know, Bowmaster's a card that probably couldn't have existed in a standard set, but like literally every other card from Lord of the Rings could easily just have existed in a standard set, in my opinion. Okay, conceding to Ballista X equals 2. Let's go. Flame and Or. Yeah, maybe Flame would be strong in standard. I don't know. You need to have Ring as a chase card. I did give the feedback that like why does the One Ring do nothing? That sucks. And I regret that feedback every day. All right, let's bring in the Portable Hole. Needle can hit Mutavault and Aether Vial and Mindspring Merfolk now. Veil of Summer is probably pretty good. So yeah, I'll take full blame. All right, let's cut the Relic. I think I'd rather play Needle than Haywire Mite if I'm going to play one of the two. I think we go down on Sentinels. They've been consciously avoiding putting 1 mana land. Yeah, maybe I'm underrating some of the cards that they could print into Modern. I mean, just like everything else, there are good design sets, there are bad design sets, and I do think that like I liked a lot about Lord of the Rings, and the ring was too pushed, but it wasn't even like the worst thing in the world until MH3 when they printed Labyrinth and Flage. I don't know. They should have limited to 1 for spanning. I think it's just a little weird to have done that. It also just like is such a big buff to Karn decks for no reason. Well, you know, the one nice thing about the ring being banned is we don't have to relitigate the whole restriction thing. Dude, this Spreading Seas is so good against this draw second Brightglass Gearhulk. Holy guacamole. Well, forgot to hold the Veil of Summer. Can we find a Blade of the Bloodchief? Nope. Your turn. Does Ridden 6 you play anymore? I play Ridden 6 every once in a while. It's definitely not a big modern card. Are Karn decks dead? No. So interesting, no attack here. Now I would be able to get my Idyllic Grange if my opponent wasn't so rude that double Spreading Seas me. But I think I'm going to attack and adapt if they like vial something in and block, and just activate Heliod if they don't. Kind of need to get another Temple Garden. I think I'm just going to not get Spreading Seased again. That sounds better. Would you substitute Fire Ice for the Helga deck if it didn't use Karuga? Maybe. I'll say this. The Helga deck really, really needs Karuga. Karuga is kind of structurally load-bearing. It's like, without Karuga, I don't think you have enough card advantage. Without Karuga, I don't think you have like enough of a payoff for being the archetype that you are. Like your Helgas are just not very good if you don't get to include Karuga. So I would caution you against excluding the Hippo. Shadowspear is kind of fun. I don't need to activate Heliod anymore to get the counters. Forest unlocks a lot of cards in my hand though, including letting me hold up Veil of Summer this turn, which is kind of nice. and lets me maybe top deck another land to go like Gearhulk Blade. So let's just take basic forest. Maybe should have chumped the Master of the Pearl Trident last turn. In my opinion, Karn, it's better than the new again. Yeah, I think Karn is great. Veil doesn't stop this trigger, but we can't be too upset that that they traded a consign for a +1 counter on a Broodscale. Silly question: wouldn't Veil cause Seas to drop off? No, I think it does. I don't think it stops this. Okay, so it says permanents you control gain hexproof from blue and black. I think that would cause the Veil to fall off. But this, it shouldn't stop the Tide Shaper. Okay, it doesn't gain protection as hexproof. Love you. Okay, love you too, sweetie. Bye-bye. It was yours, and I drank it. Oh, right, it's already attached. It's not protection. Hexproof is different. Okay, sorry. So if I attack, yeah, we just give indestructible. I think we can put the counter here. I really thought I was going to get Spreading Seas out of this game, but things are looking pretty good. This is the funniest Heliod I've had in a long time. Two like interesting board states in a row. Or two matches with interesting board states in a row. With a Soul Sister, would this be infinite tokens? Yeah, I thought about playing Guide of Souls with this shell and like being more of a Heliod deck. At the moment, we're just playing one Heliod. Okay. Obviously, if they have nothing, we win. Seems so impossible for them to counter this and deal me 11. Maybe if they have Subtlety into Lord, maybe that's enough. Do I get 2 blades? I think I get Mox Opal blades so that I can have... do I have Metalcraft? I would have Metalcraft after this resolved. So I probably should have got Springleaf Drum. Springleaf Drum blade. Mon with the 9 months, welcome back. I think people just like love the idea of it, you know. Oh, it also theft doesn't even steal the creature. It just attaches it, or it just doesn't steal the equipment. It just attaches it. They just reattach it. Oh, that'd be funny. So we're on the draw against a Kihira. I should have specified if I'm playing Lizard as well. Probably not still. That is better. Alright, so they keep a card on top. We're on the draw here. Is it fair to count Merfolk as a win on the record tracker? I'll take what I can get. No, my Grange keeps getting milled. I think you gotta take a Sentinel here. So if they have Wrath the Skies, they didn't choose to Wrath this turn. Pass him back. Alright, so I'm going to lead on Esper Sentinel here. I'm going to equip a blade to the Sentinel. I think I'd actually just go cast second blade. Path to Exile, huh? I'm lucky to have drawn 2 basics already. Yeah, I think they're just a bit too likely to have Counterspell. Although if they have, maybe running Cauldron into Counterspell is good, because if they also have Wrath, this lets me play a Gearhulk to refuel. So they play a tapped Rogran Triumph, so they're probably playing Gindrik's List. Was Dietrich playing Path? Rumble's pretty nice. Gets snared. That's not so nice. Alright. Play this out. Try to trade it for Counterspell. Then I can Gearhulk next turn. So we could also go Ballista, hit my opponent for 8, down to 5. Let's not do that. I think this game could go a bit long. I might want to just cast these Ballistas. So they've got 3 cards left in their hand here. If this is Jace with Counterspell up, I don't know what to do. Okay, leading on a Sentinel would help against that. So I could go X equals 2 Ballista. I could go X equals 1 Ballista, equip Ballista on 0, ping the Jace. So we get a card here. Have I played a land for turn? Looks like I haven't. My stupid Idyllic Grange keeps getting milled. I could Grange and be in such good shape here. So I can go X equals 1. I think I gotta go X equals 1 again. And let's equip here. No Aerith. Dude, everybody's been holding out on me on this freaking Aerith combo. I didn't know Aerith comboed with Cauldron Ballista. I don't know that it goes... I think if I try Aerith, I might want to try it in a more dedicated shell, but no, it is interesting. It's possible you want to play like a Recommission in that deck. Get back Cauldron, get back Aerith. It does seem pretty interesting. Yeah, I thought about playing Phoenix Down in this deck. I'm having a hard time getting excited about it. They plus Jace the Mind Sculptor. So does this mean their last card is Solitude? Solitude makes some sense. Try another Blade? Okay, so let's say that they do have the Solitude. I could go equip Ballista, level Ballista, they Solitude Ballista, I ping 2 counters, I ping twice, then I have 2 more counters, and I'm 1 short of getting the Jace. If they have Solitude, they for sure Brainstorm. Why? Wouldn't they want the more loyalty, thinking Solitude stabilizes them here? Actually, yeah, if I just equip this... Okay, so let's say... Okay, let's say I equip the Ballista. I attack Jace with both. They Solitude Ballista. I level Ballista. I ping the Solitude twice, which puts 2 counters on the Sentinel, which doesn't kill the Jace. If I put the second blade on the Sentinel, I attack Jace with both. They Solitude Ballista, I level the Ballista, I kill Solitude, I kill the Jace. If they Solitude the Sentinel instead, that doesn't work. This is a cool turn. I think what I want to do is cast a Gearhulk, see if it resolves. Does resolves. All right, so I'm probably going to get Urza Saga and Walking Ballista. Equip here. What do you think of the Grixis list? Do you have any plans to tune it, the mid-range controlless one? I think it's fine. I don't... you know, I'm still working on the Final Fantasy cards for the most part. So now they Solitude here. We go ping here, counter on Sentinel. Ballista on 1, ping the Solitude. That's 2 more counters on the Sentinel, which kills the Jace. And we've got a Saga in play. You gotta think about some turns. It's not all casting Guide of Souls and Ocelot Prides in the modern format, okay? Sometimes you gotta think about it a little bit. Okay, they put a Kahira into their hand. And then they concede. That's good. We've played a couple Tifa decks. Tifa's really powerful, but she goes in shitty archetypes, so I'm trying to figure that out. I've got like a Domain Zoo, Might of Alara idea for her. I don't know if we're gonna get around to it. So they don't have Flage. You could probably just cut all these. I don't know about the Haywire Mite. Guess it does not kill Stony Silence. Are they gonna have Stony Silence? It's probably Wrath right now. Why would this scoop there do not main deck Wrath Disguise? I don't know. Maybe they don't. I agree. It was a kind of an early scoop. Play the Vexing Bauble, I think. Blessing Jace was probably nonsense. Yeah, I would have thought Brainstorm would be way better. Them having Solitude, I think it's pretty reasonable for them to think that the Solitude can protect the Jace if it has 2 more loyalty. My turn there was pretty convoluted, kind of hard to play around. Took a while to find also. Is the Orim's Chant Scepter version to keep Might? The Vexing Bauble... doesn't stop kicked Chant. I think I'd probably play Needle instead of Might. Maybe not. Yeah, it's also going to be good to like make them show us that they're on that tag. Too late now. Hard hand to mulligan, so maybe we don't mulligan. Maybe we keep. I'm kind of tempted to play the Saga turn 1 because of Wrath Disguise, but maybe that doesn't even make sense. I think it doesn't even make sense. Okay. So I've got 2 Cauldrons. I think if one of them, if something's going to get countered, we'll want it to be the first Cauldron. If they have a Wrath Disguise, I don't know. It's going to be a tough one. To best play around Wrath, I suppose we probably just want to make a Saga token, right? Especially into all this open mana. The Wear Tear? Haven't seen this card in a while. Do I think Ending is a fine card right now or too slow because of Broodscale and Prowess? Well, I'd say it's good against both of those decks. Ending's good right now, yeah. Format is definitely getting more interactive and more grindy with the general lack of Eldrazi. A lot more fair decks with a lot of the Final Fantasy cards with the Steel Cutter decks. The gameplay's just been good. So they do have the Wrath of Skies. Thank you, MH3 cards. They're also hard to be good against. No point in making the Saga token. Let's try to bounce back. We'll grab a Gearhulk. That's definitely like your best tool for refueling. Obviously a lot of... I think I'm going to play Zack here instead of trying to jam the Cauldron. Bambito at the 37 months. 3 years go by so quick. Yes, they do. Okay, they've set up a Miracled Terminus, which is interesting. Let's let them put that on the stack. I think we might as well get this in the yard for the Cauldron. Do I not like the design of Wrath of Skies? Yeah, like Wrath of Skies is part of my complaint. I maybe it's not as much, but it's just such a hard card to counter. Like all of the good MH3 cards are so hard to counter. In a way that I think is very negative for the modern format. So they reveal a Galvanic Discharge here. Wrath is a little different because you can just play a deck you can just play a different deck, but it's not quite the same complaint. All right, what are we getting here? Probably a Saga. Saga Blade, maybe? Guess Blade doesn't make the most sense. Could get second Ballista. Could get a Sentinel and like buff it with the Cauldron. I think with them having the discharge, the Sentinel makes things kind of annoying for them. Are they getting Days Undoing? Well, if they do, we could just concede. Would Key to the Vault and Cloud be fun to try? I don't know what the hell Key to the Vault is. Prowess, 42% of the PT metagame. Holy guacamole. I need to text my homies and see what they're playing. Okay, whenever a equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, look at that many cards to the top of your library. You may exile a non-land card from among them, rest of the bottom. You may cast exile card. Alright, so this was the word combo used? Oh, they found the Days Undoing. Let's go to game 3. Let's go to game 3. Yeah, it seems like a worse Buster Sword for the most part. Chant's kind of good against Terminus. Dingo told me what he was playing with his team. I've kept it secret. I probably won't say, but it was pretty cool. Although I don't know if he switched or not. All right, keeping this. It's on a Mold of 6. Is it an open deck list? It is open deck list, but it's just still like not good form. If someone asks you to not talk about a deck list, talk about a deck list, you know. Thinking about VV a lot, tied Temporal build with DRC. DRC sounds like a good place to be. Skrelv is not a playable modern card. You have Zack to protect the combo also. Sentinel's just so good as like a speed bump. PT is this weekend. It is the standard format. I think I'm going to play Forest to play a little bit around, tune the narrative into Wrath of Skies. Well, I guess they probably won't do that because of the Sentinel. Yeah, starts tomorrow. How do you feel about Matoya since I tried it? I liked Matoya, but Matoya seems like a card I definitely am interested in circling back to. Well, you know, I didn't think Path to Exile was very good as a 2-for-1. It's even worse when it's a 3-for-1. Thank you, Esper Sentinel. It's kind of nice for my opponent to like 3-for-1 me with Wrath of Skies and then give me a 3-for-1 with the Path to Exile. Are all PTs in paper? Yeah, all PTs are in paper now. This one's in Vegas. I'm kind of happy not to be in Vegas right now. It's like everybody's saying it's so dang hot at the moment. You know, I'm used to heat too, but it's not. It's too hot. So I could go for a Broodscale, Blade, Ballista on 0, but then I don't have an infinite mana payoff. Let me cast this Rumble. Another one of these? Sure. Go for 10 days to play World Series of Poker stuff. Cool, good luck. Gamble responsibly. Last time, or not last time, but a few years ago, I was in Vegas, and our flight got delayed on the runway, and I was right by the window, and I was like cooking. I was sweating so much. Esther was fanning me. It was rough. I haven't seen the meta breakdown of Standard, no. I mean, I don't know if I could offer a lot of interesting insights either on account of the whole modern gamerhood here. All right, so I get to draw a card off the Sentinel. Also, shout out Skrelv. They kill these 3 cards, and I keep my Broodscale. So, kind of happy about this. Unfortunately, I can't quite Grange, but I'm down to make them have it. We might as well attack first, right? Yeah, let's attack first. Have I considered Sephiroth and Broodscale? I haven't thought about it a lot. Someone showed a list that trophied that was that deck, and it seems interesting. I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around it. Alright, but it gives us the GG, so we advance to 3-0. They say I'm stuck. Alright. Nice, so we're 3-0. I guess let's get another Broodscale, right? I had another Broodscale in hand, I think. Maybe if I didn't, I'm misremembering. Well, if they had Solitude, they probably would have Solituded in response to the equip. Sephiroth was super powerful, letting me grind through Wrath and such. Nice. Okay, against a Scalding Tarn. Could be Storm. Yeah, I think my hand is really grindy, so in case this is a combo deck, I think I just want to go. Oh, this is God's Shadow, I just noticed. Dang it. This is like only Grixis control gamer. Oh, sorry. Actually, maybe I should play this. Yeah, I think so. I think let's not... I just want to surveil so I can try to find land 4 here. Yeah, so what's interesting about Zack and Hammer, beyond like the fact that they can equip something, is that it's a legendary 1-drop. So with that and Cloud, Cassandra, maybe the Boros 2-drop legend or the red 2-drop, like maybe Mox Amber is actually something you could play in Hammer. So that's something I'm definitely thinking about. All right, they keep a card on top of their deck here. Fun League. Okay, got to keep that, even if it's not a colored source for this. Better with Gearhulk or Eldrazi? Well, we beat the Mirror. I don't know how important that is, I guess, but it did happen. I think I play VV. So far, I mean, this is our first league. We're 3-0. It's, with our small sample size, it's not possible to tell. This is our first matchup probably where Zack super duper shines. Do I like the gameplay of Broodscale decks? Yeah, I think Broodscale is the kind of deck that I really like when it's good in the modern format. Not the scariest turn. Yeah, I definitely have to just slam the Gearhulk while they're tapped out. It's too good. Yeah, I generally think that Gearhulk style strategies are good for the format. Okay, so we're going to get a Ballista. Could get a relic. I think I'd just get another Saga though. If I could cast Zack would be okay here. Well, I tried Planisphere and VV together. We have in a Cauldron build. It did not go very well. Someone else played a build that was pretty similar to that one, and they trophied, so maybe it was a small sample size thing. I definitely am interested in working some more on those shells. I today, at least, I really wanted to intentionally not play any Imri, Tamio, Opal, Amber decks. Like, I get kind of bored if I play those too many days in a row, despite there being a lot of new, good, interesting tools. Okay, so discard a card and kill my Gearhulk. I think it's got to be the Ballista, especially with Cauldrons in the deck. Saga's just so much value. Okay, so activate. Get the Relic of Progenitus. If I trade VV and Unearth together, not yet. I'm not so optimistic about that because, like, for the most part, for me, VV is a card that is good with, like, just specifically the 0-mana artifact synergies. I don't think VV's that interesting with Unearth. Obviously, you're gonna have some crazy sequences with it, but it's mostly it's a Imri, Tamio, 0-mana artifact, Flame of Venor deck for me. Fastball and Zurin Orb is pretty cool to get with Gearhulk. In Modern, it's like Hammer, Sigarda Zaid, and this kind of stuff for the most part. Gonna go the distance. Down to 9. They got 3 cards in their hand. If I play this Cauldron and my opponent has a Snapcaster, if they go counter into draw land Snap K command, it's kind of a disaster. Crack the Relic versus Murktide or Oculus. I think they're not playing either of those cards. Maybe they have a Murktide. I actually do think it makes sense to pop it, though, so that I could draw land and still play both of these. Although, getting rid of my own Ballista is kind of a problem. Maybe they go Snap Bolts. Okay, they do go Snap, target the Bolts. So I'm dead if they have another removal spell. Wow. Oh, that didn't work out. Oh, no. I go to 1. Sorry, I don't know why I thought this had 1 more power. So I don't want to shock in and be dead to a removal spell. Yikes. All right, Bolt, Snap, Bolt. Down again. Yeah, we talked a little bit about the PT meta. I haven't looked at the breakdown. I don't think I'm going to, but I mean, it's exciting. Good luck to my friends. I don't think I have much to say. So 1 portable hole for Frog could be good. Maybe 2. 2 seems fine. I think if I board out the Shadowspear, I might regret it. I might regret drawing it too. I think I'm going to cut the Heliod. Let's cut the Shadowspear. Let's cut a drum. No boots. Yeah, no boots. Normal Broodscale doesn't play boots, does it? Why Heliod over new Aerith? That's a good question. I didn't know the Aerith combo existed until today. No one's brought it up till today either. If they have, I've missed it. Aerith could be better. Heliod's obviously better if you just have a Ballista. It's more resilient. Aerith is less mana and more fragile. So I don't know which is better. Could see taking any of these cards. I guess not the Blade, probably. Yeah, I think we'll just take the extra land. Maybe extra Ballista. Hold on, maybe I go. All right, Zack down. I guess got here last game. Boots would be quite good with constructs. So I mean, Boots is kind of good exactly in that situation. Well, what card would you cut for Lava Spur Boots if you were to include it? Of course, is the main question I need to be answered. Hard not to make constructs of this matchup. Maybe we need a welding jar against all these K commands, huh? In for the long haul here. Might actually not even be right to sack the Relic, because like this bolt doesn't do much, but it's probably fine. We might be getting Flame of Anord. They might have another bolt. They don't have the other bolt, thankfully. It's a lot of tap lands they got over there. That's pretty good. That's pretty good too. So, I mean, I think I'm just slamming this Gearhulk. I could potentially Broodscale, Ballista, Cauldron. Let's play the Gearhulk. It's just so important for this to resolve. I'm going to get Urza, Saga, Blade of the Bloodchief, I think. Although Zack does seem pretty good too. It's so hard not to grab a Saga here. So let's grab a Saga. You know, they get a 3-for-1. I guess that, I don't know if it's 3-for-1 off the Hidetsugu there, but they kill 3 things. I get 3 things, even. Why would they Flame of Anor in response to that? I guess, do they not think they're going to be able to snap it back? That might be the case. They did not play a land this turn. So what's our move here? Can go for lethal. Let me cast Cauldron and see if that resolves. See if they tap out for Snare. Have you ever lost a game to Hidetsugu? Yeah. So they can sign this. Might take this for the Grange. Grange is a pretty big deal next turn. I think you just gotta take the Saga. It's also a little weird, but like turning off another flame seems nice, and my life total does matter here. They have 4 cards in their hand still. Counter spell. Counter spell. Counter spell. Let's go. Easy game. I'm just going to play Ballista X equals 1. Alright, going to game 3. With Arena of Glory, Steel Cutter with Frodo, Determined Hero be considered for equipment decks. There's a new red card that's very similar to Frodo that's actually castable off of Arena. That it also has, I think, a more relevant ability. But it's on a mold of 5 on the play. I guess that's good news for us. But I don't know. It's like the thing about Hammer is that Forge. I would usually play the first Forge Anew over these cards, but you just have so many non-Hammer draws now with Steel Cutter and stuff that It's just not that important anymore, I think. Yeah, we did win on a Molda 3 yesterday. That's pretty cool. Affinity versus Hammer. Yeah, I'm interested in working on Aerith. I want to try a more dedicated show before we play a less dedicated show. Opponent reveals a counter spell. I think I'm going to portable hold this. It's a bit weird, I know, but lets me Mox Opal this turn. It's bad. Lets me Mox Opal this turn and stops Flame of Anor from being online. Gonna get Hitsugud? Oh, it's pretty bad against Hitsugud. I saw Heliod, I immediately thought of her. Yeah, I totally overlooked this card. But yeah, I don't know. For me, I'm kind of interested in playing. Okay, they K commands, which is not nearly as bad. Can surveil or get a Grange potentially with this. But yeah, sorry, train of thought. Yeah, I want to play like Guide of Souls, Ocelot Pride, Cauldron, Heliod. If I play a deck like that, okay, I cannot cast this Gearhulk this turn. So I've lost my Metalcraft. But it does seem interesting. I do have a backup deck I want to get to. Wait, they also have Hitsugud. So I guess I can get this up to 3 power. Is that good? Beats K command 2 damage. Yeah, we can go... Put this here, get a counter. Pop this. Drew Ballista. Land away from greatness. We know they have a counterspell in their hand too, which is a big problem. Thoughts on Fable and Zuzex? I hate it so much. Despise Fable of the Mirror Breaker. And there's so many better cards you could play. Not as bad as a K command or a K command or a oh, that's brutal. Flame of Anor would have been. So this is 4 damage, and then I play Gearhulk, it gets countered. I have this very painful Veil of Summer. I take 7 down to 2, and then another Gearhulk isn't enough. Well, nice mold to 5. Could have played different for sure. It's so hard to maneuver around all this. Is there an advantage 8th over Heliod? Seems worse. She's like much cheaper to kill with. Like you just don't have to. Like you could win on turn 3 really commonly with this card. Right? GG's. We drew a land instead of the second gear. Cauldroning Ballista onto her. Grange. Guess we have to mulligan. 5? Give me the 7 back. They're thinking about their 7. You either milled the Grange, you can't fetch for it, or draw it in our opening hand. What could we have done to prevent this? Hopefully we're just in a non-interactive matchup, I guess. So let's just try to win on turn 3 in a non-interactive matchup. That's going to give us our best chance on the Mold of 5, I think. Hedron Crab. Yikes. Alright, Mold of 5, get our only spell, Thought Seized. Not ideal. So yeah, this Aerith deck would be playing green for Rumble, Ballista. I wonder if you could play Hardened Scales in that deck too. Getting to play a Life Gain aggro style deck reminds me of Heliod decks used to play Life Gain beat down to you combo 1. Yeah, I agree. If I block, they have to discard 4 cards. I don't know. For some reason, the Aerith stuff is really like I have this Cecil Goryo's deck. Kind of tempted to brew that. Oh, let's get pest controlled. Remember we were like 2-0 with the hammer deck in the challenge, and we get double game 1 pest controlled. It was so unreasonable. Okay, that's a pretty good draw. We have to get Mox Opal, though, which I think is an okay card to get anyways. Would you block here? I would not have blocked there, no. Because I needed to make another construct. I'm on a mold of 5. But now I'm in pretty good shape. Oh, no, I want to keep up the Relic pop. They might be playing Goryo's. The counterspell makes me think it's less likely. What deck is next after this one? I guess that's what I'm trying to say. As this league was really long and technical, I think I do want to switch. I have Cecil Necro ready. I have a Trailblazer deck with Esper Origins that I don't think I want to play next, so don't tell me to play that. But I'm kind of interested in like maybe taking a moment to try to brew Aerith. I wonder if you could be Abzan and play Sorin. I wonder if Sorin is interesting in that kind of show. Yeah, so I probably just want to work on the Aerith deck tonight, but it just does have me pretty interested. Do you think Psychic Frog falls in the category of image 3 cards that are hard to be good against? Yeah. The design philosophy is just so shifted between the last 2 image sets. Okay. Let me surveil before I do anything, so I can know that if I want to like draw into something off Relic or not. Oh yeah, I think I just attack. Because if they play a Bowmaster, I still want to pop the Relic. Might want to pop the Relic anyways. Yeah, I think so. Just like anything to do would be so nice. Ah, nothing to do. I guess I should have still equipped Blade. I think you want to equip Blade first. Well, they just push whichever one the Blade is equipped to, so it seems like it's just a waste of a mana. I should have done it at this point, though. Three lands in a row. Surveilled land away. Not good versus push, but good versus Bowmaster. I don't know. Like I don't know how much the 2 counters matter. Maybe they matter a little bit. And this spot, like my opponent has to now discard their whole hand, but I lose my constructs, and I don't know about this either. We've got top decks. I did see, or I heard that the PT breakdown was very prowess heavy. Are there any ban unban predictions for end of June? I mean, I don't think there are any serious ones. No. To me, it doesn't really seem like anything needs to change right now. It's 42% lot. 42 is insane. Yeah. It's like there wasn't 42% Nadu at PT Nadu. 42% might be like the most represented. I'm trying to think of any pro. I mean, obviously I follow the modern ones a lot closer, but I can't think off the top of my head of any pro tour that had that degree of representation for a deck. My opponent can draw spells. All right, well, tough mold to 5 into Flood, going to game 2. Hogak? I don't think Hogak had 42% still. Maybe it might have been close. Yeah. Eldrazi also, like, with Pro Tour Eldrazi was a little bit weird where it obviously was really dominant, but it was kind of hidden tech. Like, it wasn't a tech that was discovered. Like, I remember, what's his name? There were a lot of bad builds of Eldrazi. I can't remember the guy's name, but there are a lot of, like, goofy builds that still did well because they were Eldrazi. Eldrazi was 22, yeah. 22 is also a lot, but 42 is insane. Oh, yeah, Oko, that's definitely up there. So if I shock in this Temple Guard and my Veil is so telegraphed, I think I just play it tapped. Yeah, Frank Lepore had, like, the really goofy build that... I think it was the worst Eldrazi build by a lot, but it was an Eldrazi build when not everybody had it. And that's all it takes sometimes. Another land would be pretty good. A portable hole for a frog also seems pretty ideal. We can do that. What Pro Tour talking about the one just happened. What is happening this weekend? Yeah, Oko is 63%. Although I wonder how many different Oko decks there were. Maybe Steel Cutter gets banned in standard. And yeah, the PT is standard. Oko, please, with 18 months. Thank you. Welcome back. PT on Twitch. Yeah, it's on the Magic channel. They do play the frog despite knowing about this portable hole. It's kind of interesting. I draw another Veil of Summer. Maybe they have a Force of Negation. Okay, so with them discarding this Oculus, I think I need to deploy a Broodscale. $37% Sultai, 19 Simic, 7% banned. Yeah. So a little, you know, not one deck with the same representation as Izzet Prowess. I mean, Prowess it does seem so good in standard. I've been watching some like Ash and Doom and pretty gross. Okay, interesting. So are they saying they have a Fatal Push? That they didn't unearth the Oculus? Rosiconn's not close to being playable, no. So this is infinite spawns in addition to infinite power on the Broodscale, so that's good. How much the ring was played at Nadu PT? Like, what's funny about the Nadu PT was like Boros Energy wasn't playing Ocelot Pride, although I was telling them to, no one did. And they weren't playing the ring either. Although I think it was more understandable to not play it at that time. Yeah, it's true. We can also start making really big spawns. Yeah, I think some people were on Bombardment. We played 3 also Pride Mistake, also ignored Bomba. Yeah, there were a couple people who played Pride, but the stock list didn't. It was very funny time. So I think I'll make 2. Let's make 3 spawns with 11 power. I'd be surprised if they banned Steel Cutter just because WotC's been stun locked by their wait for next quarter because some sets will rotate nonsense. Well, Steel Cutter's not going to rotate for a long time, though, right? I mean, I don't know. I do agree that there seems like there's some like executives who just like they're like, we got this policy, we're sticking to it. You can hold W or combo to save a click each time. I think it's I don't know. It's not very hard to click the spawn. They must have another pest. Well, if they have another pest control, then like they die to Oculus still. I guess yeah, snap pest control does save them. We'll just see what we'll see what happens. Like they also like they don't need to have this in their hand. Oh, I exact the one I equipped to. Oh no, I didn't. They don't need to have it in their hand. They can just try to top deck something. Oh yeah, maybe I need to make one more. Maybe I need to make one more 11 power so that I beat Unearth Oculus because they have Unearth in their hand plus removal spell. Maybe I need to make two more to beat Unearth Oculus removal spell. Oh no, because the frog is dying. So just one more beats. No, I guess this is enough to beat Oculus 2 removal spells. Wait, no, one more is. Wait, is mana burn still a thing? They also have a history of banning cards right until, or only banning cards right until right before they rotate in standard. Yeah, that's true. Wizards does a lot of different stuff. Like it's literally just how are they feeling at the meeting where they discuss the ban, who makes the most persuasive arguments. That really is the entirety of it. All right, we get to attack with an 83/83. You don't get to do that often. It takes 60 mana burn damage. I was going to move one over here. I don't know. Your turn. That's just how decision make works. Yeah, exactly. All right, so Thought Scour. They mill another pest control. All right, game 3. Counterpoint, no one is playing cards most types that ever. Executives aren't going to be thrilled by that. Maybe. I mean, this is one thing, is like I don't really think Hasbro executives play Magic the Gathering is one thing. Where is Zach? Here he is. Game 3 on the draw against Esper Frog. Do you think this hand's just, too many mana sources? Let's keep this. We're on the draw. And turn 1 Sentinel is just your best play. This is my first deck with only one Mox Opal. I think I've done this maybe one other time. Just had one Mox Opal as a Saga target. So they graveyard a Delta. No turn 2 Frog is good. I was really feeling a land. Don't know what happened. Probably reading. Would you consider going turn 1 Surveil? I think just playing the Sentinel turn 1 is too important in this matchup. That I don't think that's what you want to do. We're on the draw, too. We got a lot of mana sources in the deck. We just didn't draw any. All right, Zach resolves. Your turn. Somehow they're down to 13. They unearth an Oculus, which is not ideal. Lost to Grixis with Hidetsugu. Maybe you lose to Esper with Pest Control. Kind of normal stuff. I do think that Eldrazi builds are better against these kind of decks. I'm going to just concede here. All right, the Aerith stuff does have me pretty excited, but I think it's been, we didn't get to the Amber Necro deck yesterday, so let's get to it today. So, there was a chatter who asked about playing Cecil.